really special day for me because I'm recreating everything that to me signifies Kerala. When you think Kerala, you think backwaters, you think lush green forests, you think little snake boats, and I'm recreating that magic for myself today. This is a really special recipe for me specifically because one of the few times that I did a touristy Kerala where I sat on a touristy boat and went all around. There was this lovely boatman on that trip of mine who, took us to a local place. He helped us buy fish directly from the waters and he cooked it for us on the boat. So this is my ode to that flavor, to that moment for me specifically. I'm using baby pomfret today, and the reason being that this is the closest that comes to the fish that is available at the backwaters. You get a particular fish called curry mean in the backwaters and it's only available there, nowhere else in the world. So I've got some chopped garlic. Okay, just put it in. Then I've got some chopped ginger. Like I said, this is really simple. It's rustic, it's home. So you can, if you like ginger more, add more ginger. There really isn't a strict structure to be formed around this. My pepper is really peppery, so I'm gonna go slightly easy, but this is also a pepper fry. So, I'm not gonna go like really stingy on that either. Just add a little bit of salt. Now remember, the key to this is that you don't make a complete paste out of it. You just want it coarsely ground because you want to be able to bite into the peppercorn as well. So just a little bit of water to sort of just help it all come together. And here we go. I think we can do this one more time, just a little bit. I might have added a little too much water, but no worries. Make sure you've cut a lot of, sort of slices into your fish, like I've done quite a few, but if you are not somebody who likes too much of the masala in between, you can also go easy on it. So just sort of apply it, make sure it gets into your fish, because like I said, this is not, the idea is that you taste the fish with just a little bit of salt and pepper. You're not supposed to be sort of marinating it completely in the masala because it just isn't supposed to be like that. The idea is that you eat the fish and not the masala. So once we've done this, just nicely, I've also made some slits inside, so I'm just going to stuff a tiny bit, not too much, because like I said, it's really spicy, so not everybody may be okay with that. So this is our fish that's marinated. Let it stay for a good 15-20 minutes. At this point, you can also sort of, put it in a foil and put it in your freezer. It can also be baked or steamed as well. I like it best when it's fried. So yeah, that's about it. So I'm just going to go wash my hands and come back because they're already burning. So now just take a thick bottomed pan and heat it up a little bit and add some coconut oil. It tastes nicest with coconut oil. Any other oil just doesn't do it, I feel. I mean, you can't cook Keralite food with regular oil. It just seems wrong to me. I'm going to put some fresh curry leaves. You want the flavor of the curry leaves to sort of seep into the fish. You don't want it to be overpowering. So just into the pan and not into your masala. So now my curry leaves are completely crackled and slightly crispy. So we're going to put in our fish into the pan right now. Just be careful when you do this because the oil might splutter. And just put it in. It's best to cook it on a slow flame. Just cover it up so that none of the oil is on you really. And just cook it on a slow flame for a good 5-10 minutes. This fish doesn't take very long to cook. So depending on your pan and on your flame, you could adjust it. I'm just going to check on our fish right now. Oh, it smells beautiful in here. Just be careful not to break the fish. As you can see now, we've got a slight crispy skin. The pepper has become slightly crispy, but we've not burnt the fish. And this is how you want it to be. So it's soft on the inside. I can see white meat on the inside, but it's a nice crispy golden on the outside. So that's exactly how you want it as well, for it to taste really nice. Yeah. And just cook it on the other side for 5 more minutes. So I think our fish fry is done. You can Like you can get this wonderful, aroma of the fish and the crispy pepper. And so as you can see, it's like beautifully golden on the outside and it's nice and soft on the inside. So I'm just going to take it out. At this point, if you'd like, you can also take it out on, lay it on a tissue paper or something, just so that there isn't too much oil. But, what's a fish fry without a little bit of oil? Okay, so there we go. There are multiple ways to eat it really. You can eat it with, rice, curry and fish fry on the side with pickle. It'll taste fantastic. Or you can just eat it plain, which is what I'm going to do because it's smelling so good. I cannot possibly wait any longer. And it's exactly what I want it to be. To me, this is Kerala. This is every flavor, every memory. It is that moment on the boat for me. Do try this recipe at home, and if you do, like, share, comment and subscribe to our channel, and please let us know what you think of the recipe.
Sometimes I just get bored of the regular options for lunch and I want something that's fancy but also healthy and quick to make. This recipe for fish papillote is an old favorite and I'm going to share it with you while I make my lunch. Right, so I'm going to start with seasoning the fish with salt and pepper. This is one fillet of basa fish that I've got here. Some sea salt and some pepper. This is about 300 grams and that's about enough for one person. Not too much pepper, otherwise when you bite into it, that's all you'll taste. So the basa has been seasoned. I've used basa, but you can really just use any fish that you find. Salmon is great too, a pomfret would be really nice, but just be sure to use a fillet cut. I've got my oven preheating to 180 degrees Celsius and now I'm going to get going with the dressing and the veggies. I've got 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil and I'm adding some fresh lemon juice. About a tablespoon, just a quarter of a teaspoon of some thyme. And now for my favorite ingredient, chili flakes. I'm adding about a quarter teaspoon, but really if you like a lot of spice in your food, you can go with about half a teaspoon. And now for a little bit of pepper and salt to season. Again, I'm just going with sea salt. Just stir that dressing together. I still have one more ingredient to add to that, and that's freshly chopped dill. The dill here will go really well with the veggies that I'm going to add and also the fish. So I'm going to add a bunch of the freshly chopped up dill to the dressing and I'm going to save the rest for the fish. Now I'm going to get going with the veggies. I've got a zucchini here. I'm going to use only about half of it. Cut that up into half and just cut it into half moons. This is also a great way to eat all your veggies. I've got the greens with the zucchini. I've sliced up a small carrot, 1 small potato that I've peeled and sliced up to this bowl. Add most of the dressing, saving just about 2 teaspoons for the fish later. You can also use your hands to toss the veggies with the dressing. I think that's good to go. Now I'm going to just chop up the leek. I've got a small leek here, but if you've got a big leek, just use half of it. Slice it diagonally. And the reason why I'm using leeks and not onions here is because leeks have a much milder flavor that'll go really well with the veggies. I don't want any one particular flavor to overpower this dish. I want all the flavors to permeate into each other when they're baking. And now I'm set to make the parcel. So here I've got parchment paper. What I'm going to do is just fold it this way. And now I'm going to start the layering. The first layer will be of leeks. And top that up with the veggies. Just spread that out. Now for the fish. Now I'm just going to drizzle on the rest of the dressing. And sprinkle on the remaining dill. Doesn't that look like something you want to eat already? Now I'm going to seal this. Just cover that up. It's actually very simple. Just fold and turn like that. Fold and seal and just go around the entire paper like that. And parchment paper really is the best thing to cook this in because you don't need to grease the paper or do anything to it. It's just so low maintenance. If it opens up, just seal it back up. We've got the time. The oven's still preheating. Okay, the oven's done preheating and I'm going to put this in for about 15 to 17 minutes. So you know it's ready when it's puffed up a bit and there's hot steam inside this, so you just have to be careful when you cut this open. Paper's a little hot too. The first peek of my lunch and it looks so good. The vegetables have cooked through, the fish is nice and tender, cooked just right, and it's really a meal all in itself. I really don't need anything else with it. My mum will be happy too because I'm eating all my vegetables. I can't wait to eat this, but I've got to be a little careful because there are hot juices floating around. And quickly into the plate. Just cutting off the parchment from the tops so that I can tuck into this. I'm really hungry. There. Doesn't that look good? And that is my lunch for today. I'm going to eat this now, but if you like this recipe, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel and leave a comment here once you've tried this recipe at home. See you next time.
One of the wonderful things about this recipe is that when you have some time and you're not doing particularly anything important, but you still feel like being in the kitchen, this is a great recipe to do. You can make little cutlets, put them in your freezer and just freeze them. So when you have a guest who doesn't really call beforehand, you can make them this in like a matter of a few minutes and they'll be completely floored by you. I've got some garlic, ginger, chilies, slightly chopped onions. So we're just going to let it sweat a little bit before we add the carrots because the onions will otherwise taste a little raw. See, it's already so colorful. I love that. I love my food to be colorful. Like I feel like it should call out and, before you eat it. Okay, so now you can see we've got it slightly burnt. Not burnt, but it's beginning to cook. So just add a little salt. I'm going to add my remaining carrots. You can also add peas in this. You could add, cooked beans in it. Just put it on simmer. Just let it all mix up. At this stage, you can also add all the spices you want. Add a little bit of turmeric, chili powder. And because there is garam masala lying in my box here right now, I'm just going to add a pinch of it to give that little something extra. Now you can see how we've got this wonderful colorful mixture of sauce. So to sort of break the monotony of the potatoes and the fish there. Now I'm just going to switch it off and let it cool because you're going to have to put your hands in and mix everything. So it's really important that you don't burn yourself at this stage. I've got some mashed potatoes here. I've just peeled them, boiled them, cut them and just slightly with a tablespoon just roughly chop them. I'm using tuna fish, a canned tuna fish, So we're just going to drain out the liquid and just take tablespoons of this. The wonderful thing about using canned tuna is that it's already shredded, so you don't really have to make a lot of effort. Once you fillet your fish, and even if you steam it, it's more than enough. Or if it's a soft meat, you can directly fry it as well, which is what we're doing here because this tuna's had some time to sit. Just make sure they're not in clumps, either the potatoes or the fish. I'm just going to put everything in a big mixing bowl so that it's slightly easy and does not get messy on the counter. All my potatoes and tuna. So now I'm just going to pour the carrot and the onion mix. I also feel like I could add a little more salt because we only added a little salt to this earlier. But if you're using canned fish, make sure it's not too salty either. Just mix it gently with your hands. You want everything to be, you don't want clumps of anything, you want an almost equal mixture of everything. Okay, so now I'm just going to quickly start heating up the oil. I've also got some fresh coriander leaves here. You could alternatively also add curry leaves because curry leaves are used incessantly in a lot of Keralite food. So while the oil is heating, we're going to quickly make little balls out of these. You can do whatever size you like. I mean, you can do giant cutlets, you can do mini cutlets if you're throwing a party and you want like little starters to float around. So you can do little mini cutlets as well. Start with the next process. You just need to take out 2 egg whites. If your oil is hot enough, start with, so I've got a plate full of breadcrumbs here. Dip it in egg white. Just keep the gas on sim because you don't want it to get burnt, but you also actually want the fish inside to cook. So if you keep it on a low flame and keep it for a little longer, you'll make sure that the fish is cooked as well. That's our second one done. At this stage, you can also freeze your cutlets. Once you roll them in breadcrumbs, instead of dipping it in egg white, just roll them in breadcrumbs and you can sort of put it in between butter paper so that they don't catch together, and once you're removing it out of the freezer, and just freeze it. Once you think both the sides are done, you can totally, just start taking it out. Just make sure that the oil is not too hot and you're not being given an illusion of it being cooked, but it's just burnt and not cooked on the inside. Now that your cutlets are ready, pick up that phone, call your friends, call for cards, call for beer, and have a party. Oh, I forgot. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye.
Hello my lords, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Nick Saraf's Food Log. This time round, I'm taking you on a culinary journey across the world. We're going to be making popular pub food, light meals, and whatnot. So let's start with what is probably the most popular pub food in the world, definitely the most iconic dish of England and United Kingdom, fish and chips with tartar sauce and mushy peas. So for making fish and chips, we have to first make a beer batter and rest it for about 2 hours. So I've taken with me 300 grams of flour. To this I add salt and pepper to my taste. Mix it in, and now it's time to add a beer. Now you should choose a nice, light and extremely fizzy beer. You could also do a mixture of beer and ale, or only ale, or to do away with the beer completely, you could use soda or buttermilk. But beer battered fish is the best. So where is my opener? No. Okay, so Let's try other ways of opening it. Is this how they do it? Can't do this. No one can do this. No one can. So, moving on. To 300 grams of flour mixed with salt and pepper, we add a pint of fizzy beer. And then we whisk it to form slightly thick batter. We leave this batter in the fridge for 2 hours. So the next thing we make is the tartar sauce, a sauce that goes brilliantly with any fish. For making tartar sauce, we first have to make a mayonnaise and then turn that into a tartar sauce. For making a mayonnaise, we take 6 egg yolks, and I like a bit of garlic in my mayonnaise, so that is 2 cloves of garlic slivered, and blend. To this, we add a good helping of strong English mustard. So mayonnaise is nothing but an emulsion of egg yolks and oil, neutral vegetable or peanut oil, but you have to make sure you keep the oil in a steady flow and be really careful, and you also have to make sure that the oil and the egg yolks are room temperature or cold. So, let's start. So for 6 egg yolks, I'm using about 350 to 400 milliliters of oil. Now to this we add about half a tablespoon of malt vinegar and blend it further. We add salt and pepper to our taste and blend it a little further. There you have fresh mayonnaise done. If you think your mayonnaise is too thick, you can add maybe a little bit of an egg white or some water, or maybe another egg yolk. But this consistency is quite good for a mayonnaise. Now it's time to turn this mayonnaise into a tartar sauce. For that, we have some cornichons, in other words, gherkins. We chop them up finely. 2 finely chopped shallots and roughly chopped capers. And mix everything together. And now we add in some chopped parsley and give it a good mix. And now that the tartar sauce is done, I'm going to refrigerate it till we need to use it again. So now we move on to the mushy peas. A British invention, God knows why, but not too bad. For this, we put a saucepan on medium flame and put in a good amount of butter and let the butter melt. When the butter is melted, we add in slivered garlic. No quantity for that, you can add as much garlic as you wish. If it was up to me, I would add a farm of garlic in. And then we add 4 chopped shallots and cook those in the butter. Now, you needn't worry because when you cook shallots or garlic or even onion in butter, it doesn't exactly color exactly the same way that it would in oil. So, don't wait too long for it to turn brown and golden. Just wait till it shrinks just a touch. There you have it. When it's nice and opaque, it's cooked. To this we add green peas. I've taken about 450 grams of peas for this. You could add more, not less though. Otherwise it'll just be like butter soup with a hint of pea. To this, I will add the juice of half a lemon. You can use lime or you can use vinegar, but I like using lemon juice. There it goes. And of course, salt and crushed black pepper. And cook it further. And now I add in just a touch of water, like a tablespoon or two. Let the peas cook in the water and let the water reduce, but just be careful you don't burn the peas. And now we must carefully blend the peas. Why I stress on the word carefully is, if we blend them too much, we would have an excellent pea soup, but not mushy peas. So for mushy peas, there you go, just a touch. Now that this is cooked, we take it off the heat and just leave it aside till we use it. So now we're going to cook the chips. We're going to double cook these chips. So we put the oil on a low flame for about 110 degrees and we put in one chip at a time. And we cook it till it's just a little soft and not colored at all. So let's start one chip at a time. So if you're expecting me to go one potato, two potato again, it's not going to happen. Eyes on the chips. When 5 to 7 minutes have passed, the potatoes are half cooked in oil on a low flame, so they're sort of done. The first round of the deep frying is done, so we take them off and we place them on an absorbent sheet of paper. And now we leave these to cool and head on to the fish. So from cooking the fish, we raise the temperature of the oil to 130 degrees and I have with me two nice basa fillets. Of course, you can use haddock or cod as traditionally used. You pat the fish with some plain flour and leave it for about 5 to 10 minutes and then pat off the excess flour. Make sure it's not too sticky and dry to touch. Dip it generously in your beer batter. So it's been 2 hours since we put the beer batter in the fridge. If you don't want to wait that long, you can just put it in for 1 hour. 2 hours gives a better result. When the fish has been coated properly, we wait for some of the excess batter to fall off, and then very carefully hold it over the pan for about 5 to 6 seconds and slowly lower the fillet into the oil. When the fish is nice and golden brown on both sides, take it off on some absorbent cloth. And now we do the second one. And now it's time for the second round of the cooking of the chips, and we're going to cook it in the same oil that we've cooked the fish in, so it has added flavor. So here we go, one chip at a time on a high temperature oil. When they're cooked golden brown like this, and they're quite soft and slightly crispy at the same time, take them out in a bowl. And when it's still warm, we season it with a good helping of salt. Or pepper if you wish, but I wouldn't like pepper on these. And we're done. So there you have it. Beer battered fish with chips served with mushy peas tartar sauce, malt vinegar and a nice veg of lemon. Of course, with everyone's favorite, beer, no matter which one it is, beer is beer. Am I right? Cheers.
masala trails. Kerala is one of the southern states in India. It is a state which is completely by the sea. Which is the most amazing thing about being a coastal state is that there are so many wonderful recipes from the sea, literally from the sea. Today we are recreating something exactly like this. This is not a recipe you find common in many restaurants or hotels. So like all Keralite cooking, today I'm going to cook with some coconut oil. This is freshly pressed coconut oil. It's easily available in most supermarkets in the world. I'm today using a mud pot specifically because to me this is a memory from my house. In almost every household in Kerala that you go, meat or any kind of non-vegetarian food is cooked in a mud pot. So now our oil is relatively hot. I'm just going to put a teaspoon of mustard seeds and let it splutter. Just be careful while doing this. So now that our seeds are spluttered, I'm going to add a little bit of curry leaf. Yes, that's what we want to avoid. I'm going to add some freshly chopped garlic. I've got some freshly chopped ginger, and I'm also going to add 2 dry red chilies. Like I said, everything is pretty much optional. If you feel like you like green chilies better, go for it. Just you don't want them to brown too much, just like a slight cooking and a slight crispiness of the curry leaves. So I think our curry leaves are crispy enough. So I'm going to add the remaining onions. Just a tiny bit of salt, maybe half a teaspoon or something. This is just to help your onions cook faster. Nothing else really at this point. So while our onions are getting sauteed, let's quickly make the next part of the recipe. We're just going to grind some masala. Now I'm going to add some freshly chopped raw mangoes. I've got some freshly desiccated coconut. Just add that as well. I've got some onions left over as well. So now I'm just going to add some turmeric. Anything non-vegetarian that we cook, I like to add turmeric. It's like a natural antiseptic. Now I'm going to add some chili powder, just a teaspoon, really, not even a tablespoon. If you like it spicier, go for it. 2 teaspoons of coriander. So just add a little bit of water to this. You want to grind this to a fine consistency. So now that our masala is completely ground, I'm just going to add it to the onions that have been cooking all this while. So I'm adding some more chili powder, just because I feel like a spicy curry today. Just add some water into this at this point. Just a little bit. You are going to keep adding some more water, just a little bit to so that it doesn't stick to the bottom of your pan and dry out. Okay. So as you can see here, we've got a nice molten consistency right now. Just mix it up nicely and let it stay on a low flame for about a minute, minute and a half. I'm going to add some more water so that it doesn't catch to the pan and gets a slight curry consistency. So you can see like we've got a very nice watery consistency. I have some more chopped raw mangoes which I'm just going to add. It's always nice to sort of bite into a bit of a raw mango in between the fish. So now I've today decided to use pomfret, like baby pomfrets, but you can alternatively use anything you like. Anything. You can use shrimps instead, you could use mackerel, sardines, anything that you like. I mean, the possibilities are endless really. So I've used whole baby pomfret here. I'm just going to, like I've already made 2 cuts, but I feel like we could make some more cuts into this. It will just allow the sort of curry to seep into the fish in a nice, sweet, subtle way. So I'm just going to put this inside and, let it lay there. So we're going to do this again. Just repeat the process. Once you've put the fish in, just put it on simmer and leave it for a good 5 to 10 minutes. I'm just going to cover it up as well. There you go. Just cover it up for 5 minutes. So it's been a good 5-7 minutes that my fish has been in the bowl. So let's just, lift it out. A good way to check that your fish is cooked is just literally lift it, and if you can, we've cut it so many times that you should be able to see inside, and if it feels like it's starting to break away, it's time to switch off the gas. Wait for a few minutes, let it sit in the pan for a good 15-20 minutes. Ideally, if you can serve it in the pan as well, great, because the longer the fish sits in the pan, the more tastier it will be. So now my fish curry is ready to be served. So my fish curry is ready to be eaten now. You can eat it with a bowl full of rice. You can eat it with chapatis, with breads. Really, the possibilities are endless. Right, time to stop talking and time for me to go dig in. So if you like this recipe, like, share, comment and subscribe.